Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another edition of This Is Recorded podcast. We're here with some positive energy, the light in this world, happiness in this world, exercise, because dancing is exercise. Man, this is a special one. I'm glad I can get her on here. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you for that introduction. So I'm Hanna, aka Hanna is Golden, Min-Jung Herbertson, straight out of Stockholm, Sweden, and I'm very happy to be here with you.
Okay. So Sweden, tell us a little bit about Sweden.
Well, Sweden, what do you want to know?
I don't know. I've never
Up
been there.
north, it's like the furthest, almost the furthest country, like up north in Scandinavia. It's most of the year it's kind of dark and cold. We have a few months of warmth and sunshine. So yeah, there's a lot of positive things. There's some not so positive, but it's a country, and I'm living here right now, and I'm thankful for having a house here.
I mean, everywhere has the positive and the negative. Now, is it close to anywhere else geographically? Where is it close to?
Well, it's in between Norway and Finland,
Oh,
and south is Denmark, and then comes like the rest of Europe down below.
okay. So, have you been to France or Paris anywhere?
Yeah. I mean, I used to travel before I moved to New York. I traveled a lot around Europe. I went a lot to Paris, for example, to dance, and London as well. And yeah, there's a lot of countries that are pretty easy to get to. So
Okay. So now I'll let the world know how I got to see you. I was following It's Biscuit. Shout out to him. And,
shout out.
and he just showed this lady dancing in the laundromat in New York to Jamaican music. And I was like, wow, like she has really got the moves down and it's something special to see. So how'd you get into Jamaican music and the dance, and how did it become a part of your life?
Well, it was, it crept into my life. I was always into dancing in general. Just I was moving to music when I was a baby. I was growing up in Sweden, so I was growing up around pop music, and then hip hop came along, MTV, and then on MTV and via the radio, I started hearing dancehall music, which was like Chakademus and Pliers, Shabba Ranks, and then Sean Paul came along. So that when I heard that music, it really it touched my soul, but I didn't really know how to move to it. But I saw the music videos, and then I started ordering DVDs because it was back in the days before YouTube. From the parties in Jamaica, when people walk around and kind of show their outfits, and then it leads up to the crescendo of the party. So I was studying from afar, the culture and the dancing, and then I started traveling more. So then I met more and more Caribbean people, and then when I moved to New York, of course, that was when I could really go to the parties there and learn from Jamaicans that were living in New York. So it was a build up, and then it took over my life for many years.
Now that's amazing because you got it down pat. Was it hard for you? Because you just seem like a natural. You don't even seem like, I'm surprised you say you watched anything, because it just seemed like you naturally had the rhythm in you. So was it difficult at first, or was it?
Well, I put in my 10,000 plus hours, training. Well, I was training different kinds of dance. So I was, learning how to move my body, but dance hall is very different from anything else. So you kind of have to unlearn what you learned before to learn dance hall. So it took a while for me to transition from being like a hip hop dancer into more of a, try to learn authentic Jamaican moves. And when I started traveling to Jamaica, that's when really like it all came together as well. When you actually see the culture firsthand, and you smell the smells, and you taste the foods, and so yeah, that's when it all.
Yeah, it's just amazing to me because it just doesn't seem like you did any like steps or dancing. It just seemed like you had it, because some people you can see them in their head like, all right, move left, right arm, move. Like, no, you seem like you just had it down pat. Now going to Jamaica, like how was it? How were they accepting of you, and like the dancing, and were they surprised at how good you were at it?
I mean, when I started going to Jamaica, I didn't go there with an attitude like, oh, look at me. I was a student. Like,
No.
I was a student. I was a teacher and a student at the same time, because I love the culture. So I was teaching dancehall classes in New York, and also in Sweden before I got there. but going to Jamaica was just like, that was like the real school to learn. So, but the reactions were really positive, and like I think once you show people that you respect the culture, you're gonna get respect back. And it's not like I came there with a mindset like, yeah, I'm gonna show what I'm all about. Like I just came there to learn from them. So.
And I think that's with anything, when you like a newcomer or anything, when you just come in with a like a attitude, like I just really love this, and people can see that as genuine. I think anybody's accepting of who you are, because they could tell your heart after meeting you and after seeing you dance. And are you just trying to like take away from this culture, or do you really love this culture? And I think they could tell you really love the culture.
Mm.
Now,
Yeah, it's always been like yeah, like it's one of my longest relationships, I usually say. Like me and dance hall in Jamaica, it's been like, yeah.
okay,
Had some difficulties along the way, but we're good now.
so what's your favorite Jamaican food? What is your favorite?
Ackee and saltfish. I don't know if you know that dish.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Never had it. I'm more of like a curry goat and lamb and stuff like that.
I mean, I love pretty much all Jamaican foods except kind of the curries, the goat stuff. So I'm
Oh,
a bit the goat. Yeah, like I know one person that makes good curry goats. uh,
yeah,
but yeah, of course, like the jerk chicken, the fish, and there's so much good things there, and the beverages and the fruits, everything. Yeah.
yeah. I heard a red stripe is like a big thing over there. To
Oh
have
yeah.
red stripe. It's very generic, but it seems like, oh well, when you're over there, you gotta have a red stripe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, is
Definitely.
that beer or is it like a soda?
No, that's beer.
Oh, okay, okay. I didn't know for sure. I would thought it was a beer. Now, you are in the dance hall world and you in the world of dance, but what did you want to be when you were growing up? What did you think young Hannah was going to be?
Well, I never really had like one big huge dream. I guess I mean when I got into dancing, I knew I loved it, but I didn't really have the vision of, oh, this is gonna be my bread and butter. I'm gonna be professional. It kind of just happened. Like I realized I was good at it, and then I trained more, and then I found, because I always wanted to learn. That was my passion, to become as good as possible. It was for me, and to learn from the best people in their respective genres. So yeah, it's always like I didn't really have. Maybe I switched, like, oh, I want to be a makeup artist. Oh, I want to be like a pot maker, like a clay, like random professions like when I grew up. But I guess I was always creative. I like to
Yeah.
create different things.
In the creative world, is hard to explain to a lot of people. Like I do a podcast, I do photography. It's like, starting out on these things, you broke, dance and stuff like that. You're like, oh man, I need to find some money. But if you like stay with it long enough, you could find enough money for you to live a prosperous life, even live a great life. So it's really hard in the creative space because everybody is like, be a doctor, be a lawyer, be a nurse, be something guaranteed. So how is it for you? Like, do you just have that drive in you that like whatever I put my mind to, I'm gonna do that. I'm not gonna worry about what people think or people say. I'm gonna just do it.
Well, I think my love for dance, for example, has always been pushing me. Um, so maybe like not really thinking, just like, right, I want to do this. So, I want to go to New York because I want to learn more dance and I want to get better. And for other people, maybe on the sidelines, they're like, oh, you're so brave, like you got so much drive. But for me, it was just like, well, there's no other option.
Yeah.
If I can't just stay in one place and be content.
Yeah.
um, but of course, like when I look back and also when I compare, other people, maybe like they go to college and then they go to university and it's very organized. And sometimes I'm like, oh, it would have been nice to go that route, but it would have been boring. It wouldn't be me authentically. But
Yeah.
I understand why people choose to go that route as well.
Yeah.
And I've always been like going zigzag, and
Yeah.
now I'm kind of doing what people are like, because I'm getting more and more into corporate work, and people that have been in corporate for a long time, like in my age now, they're like, oh, well, I want to do more creative stuff now. I'm like, right, you go do that, and I go do that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It's really hard. I'm a type of person that like if you're genuinely happy, I'm fine with you doing that. But for me, the idea of working somewhere like here in America to like 65 or something, then you can live your life. That is like scary to me. I'm like, that is like, I'm like, these good years when you're in your 20s, I'm 34, stuff like you can move around real good and easy. Like, I don't want to wait until I'm 65. And then a lot of people I hear like they have bad sickness at 65, so they can't really live their life the way they should have lived their life because they worked for a company for
Mm.
40 years or something like that. And then now they don't even know what to do with themselves because they didn't have like creative thoughts or genes, or they feel too old to do it now. So if you would have worked your whole life and then waited till 65 and then now on the dance, it's like, well, you could have did a lot more younger if you would have really went for it and tried. You could have went viral and stuff like that. You could have did all the things, but you
Mm.
waited too long. So, like you said, I respect everybody's idea on what they want to do, but I just feel like if it's something you really want to do, you got to go for it. It's going to be ups and downs, highs and lows. But I think if your heart is pure and you really love it, whether you're getting $1 or 1 million, you're going to keep doing it.
Yeah, and it's worse for me, at least it would be worse to live with a regret. Like, yeah, like you said, like I look back and like, oh, I should have done that. But
Yeah, yeah. When you're too old, it's like, oh man, I could still do it technically, but it's gonna be
yeah,
a lot harder, a lot harder.
yeah.
Yeah. So New York, when did you move to New York? Because I was born in Brooklyn. My mom moved me.
Mm.
I was bu- 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 Brooklyn.
What part of Brooklyn?
Well, I was born in Brownsville, and then my mom moved me around. I was in Farragut. Do you know where Farragut is? It's near
Um, yeah, I
on
think
York Street. Yeah, it's near the old Navy Yard, not far from the Barclays Center now and stuff like that.
right, right, right.
And lived in
Yeah,
Harlem as
Brooklyn has
well.
changed.
Yeah, I seen
Hmm?
you in Harlem on your Instagram. I seen you were in Harlem. I used to live on 143rd between Malcolm X and Lenox before we moved. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I love Harlem too. Like one of my friends is like, "You're always in Brooklyn. Like you gotta come and do a Harlem day." So that was fun. But
yeah,
yeah, I moved to New York. When was it now? In 2005, I went to New York to study for like 6 months, and then I went back to Sweden a year. And then because I was like, I want to move there, so I was working to save up money, get the visa and all that stuff. So I moved back in like 2007, 2016, 2006, something like that. And then I ended up staying for 10 years.
wow.
Yeah.
So how did that work? Getting a visa to like stay somewhere and work or do work or something like that?
It was called the Extraordinary Alien. I think it's such a funny title, but it's like for athletes or if you're a performer, that kind of visa. So yeah, that's how I ended up staying for so many years, and it became my home, and that's where I had all my friends, and it's just because I have my Swedish family as well. So after 10 years, I was like, all right, I need to take a break from the city and be closer to my relatives in Sweden a bit.
Yeah.
I recalculate my life a bit as well. So,
So
but it was amazing to live in New York for that long.
so starting out in New York, what were you doing and where were you living at?
I lived in Williamsburg. That
Oh,
was like the first like places I lived for a long time, and that was in the cusp of getting it. I was part of the gentrification wave, I guess.
oh,
Um, when which actually how we got the apartment was that a couple of drug dealers scammed me. Like they were like, yeah, we're gonna sublet this apartment, and then they ended up just taking our money and stuff.
oh,
All
New
right,
York
that was a
City.
slap in my face. Like, welcome to Brooklyn.
Yeah,
You
welcome to
gotta learn.
Brooklyn. Oh man, oh man. I remember the first time that happened to me because, like I said, my mom moved me when I was like 5 from New York, but we always went back. But I
Mm,
remember when the Clips album, the Clips, the rap group, Pusha
yeah,
T,
yeah.
Mallet. I went in a store to buy the album, and I was like, "Oh, can we buy it?" And my mom was like, let's get out of here. And I was like, well, what happened? She was like, this is a drug front, Rich. I was like, whoa. I was like, oh, wow. She was like, they're not selling CDs at all in here. They just have this set up like they're selling CDs. And I was like, New York is very sophisticated with the scamming here. Well, well, so please. So after that scamming, how did you get acquainted with New York and where did you officially live the right way?
Well, we ended up living in that apartment actually. Like it worked out after this like slap around, and we ended up, me and my friend could actually move into this apartment. Like the drug dealers, they were out. um, so I ended up staying in Williamsburg for many years, and I was teaching dance. I was like serving at restaurants because like the rents in New York are not that cheap, so you needed that fast money. So I was doing a lot of waitressing jobs and like babysitting, like all kinds of stuff to just be able to dance as much as possible when I didn't work. So I was on the New York grind and realizing that you can't just kind of do one thing. Like New Yorkers were like, oh yeah, I do this and this and this. I'm like, all right, I need to up my game here. So I started doing some DJing stuff, and yeah, just trying to be more versatile and like multi hyphenate, as I say.
Yeah. So what was it like when you first got that taste of really going out to like a dance hall or any kind, not just dance hall dancing, just any kind of dancing that you felt the vibe of New York City? What was it like when you finally felt that when you got there?
I felt that I found my home. I found my tribe, and in the club world, the amazing DJs, some of the best dancers in the world. Like everything came together. So I was going out like hardcore for many years, like several times a week, and getting home, just like taking a shower and then straight going to work. I had that energy because I was so like high on the vibes, and because you did a lot of networking in the clubs as well for
Exactly.
for dance wise. So it was intense, but it was a lot of fun.
And I've noticed that too. When you are a part of a certain world, you'll realize how small it is. Like a
Yeah.
dance hall. Well, you'll go to Atlanta, like you said, like you never been here, but you'll come here and somebody might know you, or you go to a dance hall or a place and somebody's like, hey, do you know such and such? And then y'all just join together. So, like you said, it's really important to network when you out because people can literally hand you that next step to like change your life. So it is tiring, it is hard to keep going and stuff like that. But when you keep going, you will be rewarded from just literally going out. Like, hey, I remember her, let her in, let her in the club or this or that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty amazing.
One thing, and like social media has taken over so much because of everything that's happened in this past years, but still in real life is you can't beat it really.
Yeah, it's the best. Like a word of mouth too is like the best. Like, hey, I heard
Yeah.
about this person, and it really could take you far. Now, around that time, well, Sean Paul was before that, but I wanted to tell you, Sean Paul is my favorite, and I know you got a chance to meet Sean Paul. How was that meeting him?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, several times actually, because um, we had this club every week. So one of his managers were involved with organizing it. So he came there whenever he was in New York. He came to that club, and then we actually ended up like going on a paintball,
Oh, wow.
trip with him and his crew. So that was kind of surreal. Like, okay, I'm shooting at my like childhood idol. Oh, I shot him.
Oh, wow, man.
He's a super nice guy. He's like super humble and fun, and his whole team is really just like, they're not like this, like they're superstars, but they're super humble.
Yeah, it's just like Sean Paul was just like the breakthrough because I graduated in 2006 from high school. So Sean Paul music was around that 10th grade for me. And
Mm,
it just like he was the one to take it really, 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 really far. And he broke through, did songs with like Keisha Cole for Step Up, and he really broke through. But around his time, it was him, it was Wayne Wonder and stuff
yeah.
like that. It was different people. It's like Sean Paul like set the wave, it feels like, for like a lot of people to come in. Cause when I was younger, it was the Shabba Ranks. And then how I seen you on TikTok, Super Cat. And I never
Yeah.
heard, Brooklyn, man, that's Super Cat,
Uh-huh.
Biggie, and Puffy. People don't even notice that's Puffy rapping on there, man. It's like,
Mm,
man. Now that Super Cat song, I've never heard that song until I seen you on it. I was
oh,
like,
really?
wow, man.
Yeah.
Super Cat is the man. I love Super Cat.
Yeah, he has some like classics, like anthems.
Yeah. Around that time, though. Now, do you remember? Let's see if you remember. Do you remember the girl named Ponytails they used to dance with Sean Paul? I think that was her name.
Well, I know the dance, so I guess it was her that made up the ponytail dance. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know, but I just remember like watching 106 in Park heavy around that
Uh,
time, and then he was performing, and then they introduced her as Ponytails, and I was like, she's in all his videos and stuff like that. So I was like, oh well, she became a popular dancer. But Get Busy was the good video. That video was really good.
yeah. So many good videos and
Yeah.
like really pushed the Caribbean culture like worldwide.
So your favorite Sean Paul song
Oof.
today? Because that question gets so hard.
It's hard to name like one, but now like you said, like Get Busy, of course, and Temperature,
Oh yeah.
like on those like timeless rhythms as well.
Yeah, I like I've been listening. I had like a whole because I work with two Jamaican ladies, so every once in a
Mm.
while I'll put in we play music all day at work, so I'll go into a little reggae set and I played Sean Paul Infiltrate, and it was like, man,
Yeah.
how do you know these songs? And then like like I'll play that song, I'm in love with a man that's twice my age or something like that.
Right.
Like, what are you doing? I'm like, I mean, I was born in Brooklyn, so I know a little bit of something. Yeah.
Like you hear that like out in the streets, like from cars everywhere.
So speaking of Brooklyn, I know you had to go to the Labor Day parade. You had to.
Yeah.
Had to. How was that experience the first time?
Well, the first time, yeah, like it was, I'd never experienced anything like that. So it was just, all the vibes, the trucks, like it was just like, there was a lot to take in.
Yeah.
um, and then from then, I went also to a carnival in Jamaica, and then I've seen the one in London as well. I've been to that one several times. So,
Now,
it's a beautiful, beautiful thing when everything comes together and like the different islands come together and
okay. So
party.
your favorite experience out of those three, which one was your favorite?
Ooh, not to talk down on anyone, but I really like the Notting Hill Carnival. Uh,
Nice, nice. So that's London.
yeah, that's London.
Wow.
It's very like I don't know how big you can describe it. It's a big area, like the whole of downtown Manhattan. You can say like they just block it off, and there's like block parties, different DJs, different sound systems, like 20 sound systems maybe within this area, and people just like walk around. They have food stands, so you can kind of just hop from party to party, and then there's usually performances plus the trucks and like the floats and everything.
Now I've heard
And
London.
the party evening, so it's like it's lit for like 3 days. It's crazy.
Now I've heard London is amazing. Like I really love soul music as well. So I really want to go to London and just take in the vibes. And I know they have a lot of Jamaican culture there, but I know like just soul singing, the
Yeah.
Adele's and Sam Smith, like these people, white people that'll have like this soul like out of this world. You're like, wow, but they really study and love soul music. Like Mick Jagger, he loved James Brown and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Like he really, really loved it. I think he produced the James Brown movie, so
Mhm.
they really love soul music. So I have to go to London. Now I heard Canada has one too, the carnival.
Yes, Caribana. I'm gonna try to go there this year actually.
Yeah, yeah. I seen it. Me and my wife was watching Housewives of Atlanta one time.
Mhm.
And they showed them go and they got all dressed up and stuff like that. So I was like, wow.
Mhm.
But the Labor Day parade, now I've been one time and it
Mhm.
was like people had snakes on their neck and all kind of stuff. Like, oh, whoa, what is I was like 10 years old going, and I was like, and honestly, that was the first time I seen somebody make it clap. I was like, what is that? I said, whoa, 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 whoa. As a kid, I'm
Whole new
like,
world opened up.
yeah, I was like, what is that? And it was very dangerous because she was on a float and she opened the float door and did it. I was like, whoa, this is this is dangerous and interesting as a 10-year-old kid. I was
Can't
like, wow.
I saw.
Yeah, yeah, wow. And I remember Beanie Man was coming
Mm,
out, and it's so crazy too, because around that time it was like 98, 99. Who Let the Dogs Out? I heard that a year before it blew up. I heard it like a whole year. And the Labor Day parade, it's like, oh man, this is a good, we like this one. But then when it came out, it was like everybody was exhausted with it and felt like, oh, it's too pop now. You know,
Yeah.
but I was like, it didn't start out like that. It was at the Labor Day parade, and it was it was a good song, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Beanie Man, Beanie Man was throwing tapes back in those days, children. It was little things called tapes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was throwing tapes, and one of them hit my dad in the head. It was hilarious. And that tape had some good songs on it. It was free as well because they were throwing them out. So
Promotion.
yeah, it was just a good time, man. It was a good time. So marketing, I gotta talk to you because I definitely need to do a better job at that. And I know that you're a genius at that. How did you get into marketing and how important is it?
Well, I mean, I guess an intent, like I didn't know that I was doing marketing, but when I was pushing dancehall and, you know, I was always trying to convince people to like, get into dancehall. So that was, I guess, kind of marketing. And then because I was working a lot of restaurants, and then I took an interest in taking pictures and videos. So restaurants started asking me like, oh, can you help us with Instagram? And also artists, they came to me and they were like, oh, can you help me with choreography? But I also need help with my Instagram and like branding and all that stuff. So it kind of just, it also like crept up on me. And then I realized that, all right, this is my, my next calling, because I knew, dancing was not going to be my entire life, like until the rest, like to the end of my life. But I felt like marketing could, be the next step for me. So I started taking classes also in Brooklyn for filming and Photoshop and all that stuff. So I had some, more knowledge. And then when I moved back to Sweden, I also went to school for a little bit. This was called like digital strategies. And then I learned a little bit more like, all right, what's going on like before you take the picture, before you post. So I got more of a 360 view of the whole thing. And now I'm working full time with marketing. So it's been a journey and like struggles, but I'm here and I'm thankful, and I'm exploring the field as much as I can.
Nice. That's great that you in it now. TikTok is what got us to get this interview and this biscuit.
Right.
So how was it discovering TikTok? Because I felt like in the beginning of the pandemic, TikTok came out. And how did you figure out like, hey, this thing is really, really working and it's really can get you to the next level as far as marketing goes for anything you're working on?
I mean, my friend's daughter, she told me about it when it calls Musically, some years ago. And I was like, oh, I guess it's the kids app. And I was kind of slow still, like to jump on it, but I created an account. So I had an account, but then I didn't do much with it. But then at the end of 2019, I was like, all right, I need to learn, because I feel like this is going to be the next big thing. So, and learning while, okay, I'm going to start posting my own videos, because, that's how I'm going to learn. And so it didn't take off like right away. I just, tweaking it. Okay, should I use hashtags? Like, how do I find my, like my target group? And then I had a few videos that blew up and went really, really viral. So I was like, hey, this is fun. And, but I was at the same time, because I was aiming to work with other clients. So I was taking my experience from my own account, using it to work with other brands. But yeah, like it's been growing. Both of them has been growing, and it's been so much like positive feedback. So I'm really amazed and thankful for, being able to like do my dancing still, even though I'm not, aiming to be a dancer anymore. But I know I still love it. So
It's the love. It's the love. Now, how important do you think? Because I feel like me, I feel like I have a great concept with the podcast, different things, but the marketing, I got to figure it out. So how important is marketing to like somebody that has a great idea, but doesn't know how to, I guess, portray it to the world or get it out there to the world? How important is marketing?
oh, it's very important. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a marketer, but it is, if you want to get people to notice what you're doing. So it's everything from finding out, okay, so who do I want to speak to, who do I think is going to want to listen. And sometimes you have to rethink, like, all right, I thought this was going to be the people that was going to like me, but it's actually these people. So you have to test it out, like try different audiences. It can be, it doesn't have to be just like age groups. It can be, people with a certain kind of interest, or people with some kind of, something that's going on in their life that's, what you provide is going to really speak to them. So it's, it's about psychology, basically. If people can relate to you, if you feel like they're getting, some knowledge, or it's making their lives better in some way or another, that's when it's going to work out. And for me, I guess people seeing me dancing and just being carefree and just doing it for fun is giving people joy, and be like, oh yeah, I'll give her a follow. It's, so it's like an exchange of energies.
And the laundromat is just so relatable for New York City too. Like when I seen that video, now what's that video of you dancing in Supercat? Was that the one who really made you viral, or you had other ones before that?
Well, yeah, that one took it to definitely a next level within the hip hop world, especially. Like It's Biscuit picked it up really, like he was one of the first ones from the hip hop world, because before that it was mostly, the Caribbean blogs, or, that diaspora. But I really saw when the hip hop world caught on to me, that was, it went even bigger. And that was in Sweden. We don't have like open laundromats like we do in America, but it's like, in my apartment building, you book a time. So then I have it for like 3 hours, and then I can just do what, like no one's gonna come in and see me dance. I can just do whatever. And I can play music loud, because my neighbors here, like they complain when I play music. But when I do laundry, that's when I can play music loud. And then I started doing the TikToks there, and I was all right. It's, this works out, this concept.
And I felt like, I was like, you got to be in New York like maybe 3 a.m. or something like that. I was like, maybe you there like real late and doing.
Right.
I did not know that you were in Sweden doing it. That's funny.
But yeah, it's like the universal thing of like, yeah, everyone does laundry.
Yeah.
And
relatable content, relatable
right.
content. Yeah.
And you just like, I don't know, maybe you're just gonna be on your phone, but if you can spend your time having some fun as well.
And now I used to go to the laundromat in the 90s, and it was boring. Oh man. So it's like, for you to have your phone and be able to do all these, because now you see people, always doing a TikTok or something like that. Like it's so much better, I would imagine, doing laundry today versus when I was going 96, 97, and you're like, okay, they got Miss Pac-Man in the corner, they got TV on, but you can't hear it, and you got to sit there for 3 hours, like you said, and you're like, oh, I'm bored. I'm really, really bored. So that is funny that the laundromat is really what took off for you. But what you said is important too, is that finding your core, because that's what I tell people when they have like anything they're doing. I said, find your core, because the core can get you a lifestyle forever. Like everybody wants to be the biggest, but your core can have you sitting comfortably and living a life you want to live. Like, how important is it, do you think, to find just a core? You don't have to have everybody. Of course, you're aiming for everybody, but how important is that core following to you?
No, it's like it's everything, because it can start with like 1, 2, 3 people. That's like super, like you said before, it's the word of mouth. So if they tell their friends, like, you gotta check her out, and then it just spreads, like, you gotta check her out, you gotta check her out. And then eventually it's someone that's don't even know what dance hall is. Like they're gonna see it and be like, oh, and maybe it's like spark an interest for them to be like, oh, like I want to find out more about dance hall, or so it's the trickle down effect is never underestimated.
Nice. Now you seem like a pretty upbeat and positive person, but I always ask people this question to help other people. What do you do on those moments when you're feeling down on yourself, or you maybe not feeling good, or life is weighing you down? What do you do to get yourself back up?
Well, I take a walk. It's really cheap and effective way to feel better. And right now I'm living like in the suburbs of Stockholm, where it's a lot of trees and water around. So I'm very happy and thankful for being here at this time. Also during COVID, it was like my savior.
Yeah.
So if you can take a walk in your neighborhood, that's really nice. A good thing. I do some yoga and meditation here and there. I'm not like super rigid. I don't have like every morning like half an hour, but when I can get it in, and sometimes I have to remind myself. And yeah, like I take my dance breaks. Like making TikToks for myself is also now like a relaxation from my other work, in a way, to get my creativity out. So yeah, find your ways, but also hopefully it's something that's good for your body.
Yes,
So
that is
yeah.
important. That is so. What is some advice to some creators like starting out, or maybe they've been doing it for a couple of months or something? And they feel like it's going nowhere. What advice do you have to like the other creators out there trying to figure out their way, their passion to make it monetary, hopefully one day, and really live free how they want to?
Mm. Well, I mean, I've been there because I was putting out content since 20 years back, and for many years it was like, yeah, I got some traction, but I felt like I was just like kind of banging my head against the wall, like not getting anywhere. So after some years of doing that, I have to turn and try something new, like try something different. And that's hard, like, because the easier way is to just do whatever you've been doing, but if you keep doing it, it's not going to lead anywhere. So you have to switch it up. So if it's not working, tweak something, maybe like take a course, learn something new, so you can like find yourself in new situations with new people, so you're not always like around the same all the time, like, because it's like networking as well, where you can meet people that spark something new in your mind. So, and for me, moving back to Sweden was really hard. Like I didn't really want to, but I felt, okay, this is the move I need to make to be able to get to this next chapter. And it took years. Like, it was hard for me to just land back here and feeling like an alien as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
don't be like me and don't like bang your head against the wall like too many years.
Yeah.
Be smarter and
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
turn the other way like a little bit earlier than I did.
that it's important. Like, and what you said now, I think more than ever, the courses are getting more accepted. That a lot of people go the college route, but for creative people, they have courses on this or that or marketing or different things, and it's maybe like $200 or this or that, and you're like, why would I spend that on a course? But that course can lead you to meet somebody that can take you to the next level. So, I mean,
Sure.
it's important. Like these courses is what I'm learning is that like it seems like a scam for a lot of people, but if you do your homework or talk to some people that maybe have done it before, like you said, you did courses on Photoshop and different things like that, and it could help you take you to the next level. And now you're doing marketing and stuff like that, and you figure these things out. These courses, for you could take a couple courses rather than 4 years of college, and you might
Right.
be like on your way, and it's cheaper. Like, but you don't think that in the moment because you're like, I'm about to spend $100 on 1 hour, a 2 hour class. You like, yeah, I don't know about that, but it really seemed like the courses help a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And even taking privates, like in the dance world, it's kind of common to take privates, but also if you know someone that's really good at what they're doing, maybe you can book them for an hour or two just to get some advice or get some tricks and tips and inspiration, and pay them what they're asking, because even though it feels like maybe a lot in the moment, down the line it's going to pay off.
Yes, yes, yes. So I wanted to talk to you. We talked about it beforehand. It's a deep conversation, a deep topic for some people. I want to let you know before we get into it, but adoption, if you could share your story and your thoughts about adoption.
So I renamed it some years ago now, because I feel like the more honest way to talk about it is like export and import, because I was basically a commodity, right? There was a demand. People in the West wanted babies, and then there was like business people in between that provided, all right, we have babies in Korea, or a lot of different countries have been exporting babies. And in some cases, I'm sure this was like legit, there was, the parents maybe weren't there anymore, or due to different circumstances, but also in a lot of cases there was a lot of illegal things happening, basically like human trafficking. But I ended up going from Korea to Sweden as a baby. And actually, like earlier this year, I managed to found my mom, or like an organization found my biological mother, after like years of searching and but like a very like a slow search. I haven't been like, it's not like every day I'm like online and searching for her, but it's been a process. Um, but then she ended up saying that she did not want to have any contact. So now I'm at a standstill again in this search, because I was all right. Yeah, I would nice to be, see a picture or find out if I have siblings, but she didn't really want to give any information. So it is what it is. I worked a lot on my, like my adoptee wound, as you say.
Yes.
I've gotten far. It's still work to do, but I'm glad I found out like the ugliness of this world as well, because I grew up and it was kind of wrapped like marketing. It was like marketed as, everything's happy now, like these kids, they have a better home and everyone's gonna be happy, but that's not really reality. So
yeah
it's a
Thank you.
process.
Yeah, thank you for going there and sharing. But I really understand that in this world, you have, biological or blood people, but the people you really meet that really love you, they really are your family, because it's like your family sometimes can be your family technically, but they really, really treat you really, really bad and really treat you rough. So if you can have one or two people in your life that could just help you out and love you the way you need to be loved and accept you, it's like we just have to be, accepting of that, because sometimes your parents will never be the people that you want them to be. Whether
Yeah.
you grew up with your biological parents or not, they can just not be the people. A lot of us, for us now, kids are social media, but for us growing up, it was TV, and everybody felt like, well, on TV, this is the way it's supposed to be, the mom and dad, and it's happy, and it's like, that's not the truth. That's TV is what TV is. It's marketing. Once again, it's just that, like, I hope for you and for anybody listening that, whether biological or not, you find some peace. And also, I'm big on healing. Like you said,
Yeah.
you healed your adoption wound, like, because people say get over stuff, but I feel like that's not the good approach to go about it. I don't think you just get over breaking your knee. You have to go in there and you have to get surgery. You have to get it healed. So
Right.
healing is a lifelong journey, because some days you feel like, oh, I got a grasp on this. Then you might see something or see someone and it might tear your whole world all the way back down. But if you get better with it from time to time, day to day, year to year, I think healing is important. But I really thank you for sharing that. And for anybody dealing with emotional scars from family and stuff, you have to
Mm.
really love yourself. You really, like, in this world, anybody could change on you. So loving yourself is the most important thing that you can do. And I think you do a good job of loving yourself with your dancing and moving and inspiring and making the world happy. So thank you for your light in the world.
Thank you for uh, seeing what I do and exchanging energies here. I really appreciate it.
You do a good job. You do a good job. So if you had, what was the last reggae or dance hall song that you played, that you listened to?
Ooh, well, it was probably something this morning. I mean, I listen to music all the time. I have I don't know exactly which one it was though. I think it was a popcorn song.
Popcorn. Popcorn is huge. He's really big.
Yeah,
Yeah, I hear him a lot. And I hear him sometime on songs that I didn't even know he was on. It'll just be
yeah.
like featuring Popcorn. I'm like, wow, man. And I heard of him from Drake. That's where I like found out about Popcorn.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No, it's been proving himself to be really like he's gonna stay for a long time. Because first, he broke through with the Clark song. He was on the Clark song with the Vibes Cartel. So back then, you never know with these like artists. They might have like one hit wonders, but he's one of those that's really managed to stick around and keep doing collaborations and coming out with albums. So yeah, big up. I also listen to Coffee, and she's one of those like super young and super talented people that's taking Jamaican music like to like keeping it on this level like that Sean Paul did it. And so yeah, it's really nice to follow music trends.
and now I see they pushing Shinsia. I haven't heard too much of
Yeah.
her music, but I hear that, I feel like they're trying to really push her to cross over in the States and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Shinsia.
Yeah. So yeah, because she's super talented as well. I actually promoted one of her songs that she had with some Swedish producers some years ago. So that was when she was breaking out. So I've been following her since then and seeing her like, you know, working her way towards the US and now like more like pop, hip hop kind of route. So yeah, I hope she does well.
Yeah. So do you have a favorite Shabba Ranks songs? I like Ting-a-ling-a-ling, of course. I love that one, but a favorite Shabba song.
Yeah, and of course it's that Mr. Loverman.
That's the big one. Now, do you remember back in the day in Living Color when they did a skit of that?
No, I don't remember that one.
Oh yeah, it was back when cancel culture was not a thing back then, and it was Mr. Ugly Man. I was like,
Yeah. I've seen that now. I've seen that one.
I
Yeah.
was like, oh boy, but you know, Shabu. If you were around that time, I was young, but Shabu was big. He broke over.
Yeah.
He broke over big time. Have you heard the ASAP Mob Shabba Rank song?
I think so. Like came out some years ago, or
Yeah, it came out probably like 6 years ago.
right.
Yeah, that I love that one. The beat on it is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much, you know, hip hop and dancehall is so closely connected. It's cool when they really mash up.
It's pretty cool. Now, before we get out of here, I feel like I'm gonna be more vulnerable and I'm gonna have more fun. And I'm going to start asking people to do their accents, and I'll do it first. I'm gonna do my own Jamaican accent. Okay. All right, here we go. Time to embarrass ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Time to break free. Okay. Bless up, everyone. We got the girl Hannah on This Is Recorded podcast right now. Tune in. Big tunes coming up. Real respect, real love. Thank you, Hannah. Pop.
Bless up, Reggie Big Man Ting. Tune into his podcast, the biggest podcast in the universe. So, lock in.
Thank you very much. This is going to go in a blooper reel somewhere. Thank you very much. All right. So the last thing. Oh yeah, the last thing I do before I get out of here, I do this thing called speak it into existence because I believe in that, and I think it's really you got to really manifest things in your life. So I said in your life, and that got threw people for a loop. So I said, okay, this time next year, what are you manifesting that's going to be going on in your life? So speak it into existence, Miss Hannah. What is going to be going on for you this time next year?
This time next year, I'm going to be even more free than I am now, like with my work. I'm going to be, you know, traveling here and there. I want to do a Caribbean island tour. That's one of my goals as well. And yeah, living my best life. That's what it is.
This is recorded.